So in this video, I'm going to show you how to fill out your PowerPoint slides and also how to do your note cards for your presentation. So let's talk about the slides first. In the PowerPoint, there are 3 different sections. So for example, section 1, problem analysis with 3 slides. Section 2, past solutions analysis, also 3 slides. And then the last section is the action plan with 3 slides. So each person in your group will be responsible for talking about one of those sections. So let's say that my group chose me to do the problem analysis section. So that just means that when I go to my first slide, I'm going to change all of these sample bullet points and titles to match my project. So for my example, let's say that the problem I was researching was school dropouts. Okay. Here in this bullet, I would write a gist of the problem, making sure that it's less than or at least, or sorry, no more than 6 words per bullet. So I'm going to say student dropout rates are increasing. Okay, that's like the gist of the problem. Why my team chose it, okay, also 6 words or less, so we are passionate about education. Okay, and then on my note cards, I would write more to say in detail about those 2 things. And then over here, I can paste some images that represent that problem. Let's move on to another one. So here, causes of blank. Okay, well, I know that it's probably asking me, what are the causes of the problem? So causes of school dropouts. This is where you're going to use your paragraphs that you already wrote. So step 1 for your note cards is to go to your written paragraphs, and your assertion is your first bullet point. So where it says one cause of student dropouts from are absences from school, I'm going to take that assertion and make it into 6 words or less. So I'm just going to say absences from school. Okay, 3 words. Now over here on my note card, that's where I'm actually going to write out the rest of the details that I'll actually say when I'm in front of my classmates. So absences from school, I have that first bullet. Now I need to add some more details to talk about that. So here's how I'm going to do that. Step 2 of the note cards is to make sure that you have the right heading. So you need to have the title of the slide, problem analysis. You need to have your name and the number of the note card just in case your note cards get out of order. I'm also going to write the bullet point that I'm talking about. So I'm going to make a bullet and say school absences. All right. The goal of your note cards is not to read them to the class. That's really boring. The goal is for you to memorize what you're going to say and use the note cards as a backup plan, just in case you get nervous or you forget what you were talking about. So you're not going to copy and paste this entire paragraph. You're only going to take the most important parts. So when I look at my context sentence, I see that I wrote that when students miss class, they miss out on learning. Okay, so I'm going to come back over to my note card. I'm going to write a C for context, and I'm going to say miss school equals miss out on learning. Okay, notice how I took that whole sentence and I made it a lot shorter. Because again, the goal of your note cards is just to remind you if you forget what you're going to say. And now I'm just going to continue to go down the ACIT frame. The only part where you will actually, copy it exactly is your evidence. And the reason why is because you are quoting someone and you need to make sure that you quote them correctly. So, according to the National Dropout Prevention Center, and then I would write out the entire quote that I included in my paragraph. Okay? I'm not going to do this in this video because I know that you guys know how to do that. And also notice that when I'm writing this note card, I'm making it really clear and easy to read because you don't want to be straining your eyes. And if you have, handwriting that's a little messy, you want to make sure that you really take your time on your note cards to make them clear and easy to read. The interpretation is the next step. That is where you will write most of your, or you'll copy down many key points. So I have several interpretation sentences from my paragraph. So again, I am only taking the main points from those. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to say my first point that I want to talk about is students miss school for many reasons. Okay, and then I continue to read my interpretation and I list out the other key points from that interpretation that I plan to talk about in detail. Again, not copying the whole sentence, just the key points to remind me if I forget what I'm talking about. At the very end, I have my T, which stands for the transition. This is where I can restate my conclusion sentence. So overall, missing school has huge effects. Okay, and that's a transition into the next slide, which will be about the effects of school dropouts. Okay, so I'm kind of linking my ideas together. So this right here is what, this would all be filled out, but this is kind of an example of what your note card should look like. There's not a ton of words on it. It's easy to read. It's your best handwriting, and it's only pulling out the key points to help you remember if you forget what you're talking about in front of the class.